Okay. Welcome everyone. Let me know what you all think of that new intro I have. I changed the intro, and let me know. And I changed the name. And the reason I changed the name because well, I don't use Facebook Live anymore. I use the StreamYard. So I thought, well, it's on the Saturday evening, so why not call it the Poetry Club Saturday Night Show? And I can't call it Saturday Live because there is a show called Saturday Night Live. So that's why I call it Saturday Night Show. So I hope you all like it. If y'all don't, let me know what y'all think of the intro. I can always do it again. Okay. And okay. Okay. And I hope you all had a good week this week. Okay. Now I'm okay. I'm going to read Gary's poem called "Money Has Spoiled." Okay. Money has spoiled everything but poetry. We all need truth. The value of our words is worth more than our money. We can't let our freedom of speech and personal feelings be destroyed and distorted by the influence of profit. The truth must be told about our past in order to use these truths to help guide the future of mankind on this earth. Okay, get the end. And that was Gary's. And I want to read something to you all. This poet. Okay, let me get it. Um, okay. Um, I guess I can't see that comment. Uh, okay. I guess I can't see it. I won't be able to see the comment on here on the phone. Hello, Dickie. Welcome to the Poetry Club Saturday Night Show. Welcome. Okay. Okay. And welcome everyone. Okay. Now, and it's honored to have you here, Robbie, and it's honored to have you here, Dickie. And somebody else is here too, and it is an honor to have you here too. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Now, where'd it go? Okay. Now I'm going to read from William Shakespeare, the sonnets, poems of love. Okay. Hope y'all can hear me all right. Can everyone hear me all right? Because up here, what I'm seeing, everything is really slow. So let me know what you all see. Okay. And I hope y'all can hear me. Okay. Today I'm going to read William Shakespeare, the Sonnets, Poems of Love, 90 through 99. Okay. Okay, thank you, Robbie. He's okay. Um, okay. Let me put this up, Okay. Okay, thank you, Robbie. He said it's all right, Noreen, not slow. Okay, thank you. Okay. Sonnet 90. Then hate me when thou wilt, if ever, now. Now, while the world is best, my deeds to cross. Join with the spite of fortune, make me bow, and do not drop in for an after loss. Ah, do not, when my heart hath escaped the sorrow, come in the rearward of a conquered woe. Give not a windy night a rainy morrow to linger out a purposed overthrow. If thou wilt leave me, do not leave me last, when other petty griefs have done their spite. But in the onset come, so shall I taste at first the very worst of fortune's might, and other strains of woe, which now seem woe, compared with loss of thee, will not seem so. The end. And that was Sonnet 90. Okay. Um, Sonnet 91. Some glory in their birth, some in their skill, some in their wealth, some in their body's force, some in their garments, though newfangled ill, some in their hawks and hounds, some in their horse, and every humor hath its adjunct pleasure, wherein it finds a joy above the rest. But these particulars are not my major. All these I better in one general best. Thy love is better than high birth to me, richer than wealth, prouder than garments cost, of more delight than hawks or horses be, and having thee, of all men's pride I boast. Rich in this alone, that thou mayest take all this away, and me most wretched make. The end. And that was Sonnet 91. Okay. Okay, we get. Okay. Sonnet 92. But do thy worst to steal thyself away, for term of life thou art assured mine, and life no longer then thy love will stay, for it depends upon that love of thine. Then need I not to fear the worst of wrongs, when in the least of them my life hath end. I see a better state to me belongs, than that which on thy humour doth depend. Thou canst not mix me with neon inconstant mind, since that my life on thy revolt doth lie. Oh, what a happy title do I find! Happy to have thy love, happy to die. But what so blessed fear that this fears no blot? Thou mayest be false, and yet I know it not. The end. And that was Sonnet 92. Sonnet 93. So shall I live, supposing thou art true, like a deceived husband, so love's face may still seem love to me, though altered new. Thy looks with me, thy heart in other place, for there can live no hatred in thine eye. Therefore, in that I cannot know thy change. In many's books, the false heart's history is writ and moves and frowns and wrinkles strange. But heaven in thy creation did decree that in thy face sweet love should ever dwell. Whatever thy thoughts or thy heart's workings be, thy looks should nothing thence but sweetness tell. How like Eve's apple doth thy beauty grow, if thy sweet virtue answer not thy show. The end. And that was Sonnet 93. Okay. Um, Sonnet 94. They that have power to hurt and will do none, that do not do the thing they most do show, who moving others are themselves as stone, unmoved, cold, and to temptation slow. They rightly do inherit heaven's graces, and the husband nature's riches from expense. They are the lords and owners of their faces, others the stewards of their excellence. The summer's flowers is to the summer sweet, though to itself it only live and die. But if that flower with base infection meet, the basest weed our sprays his dignity. For sweetest things turn sourest by their deeds. Lilies that fester smell far worse than weeds. The end. And that was Sonnet 94. Okay. And Sonnet 95. How sweet and lovely dost thou make the shame, which, like a canker in the fragrant rose, doth spot the beauty of thy budding name. Oh, in what sweet dose thou thy sins enclose, that tongue that tells the story of thy days, making lascivious comments on thy sport, cannot be dispraised, but in a kind of praise. Naming thy name blesses an ill report. Oh, what a mansion had those vices got, which for their habitation chose out thee, where beauty's build doth cover every blot, and all things turn to fair that eyes can see. Take heed, dear heart, of this large privilege. The hardest knife used doth lose his edge. The end. And that was Sonnet 95. Okay. Okay. And Sonnet 96. Some say thy fault is youth, some wantonness. Some say thy grace is youth and gentle sport. Both grace and faults are loved of more and less. Thou makest false graces that to thee resort, as on the finger of a throned queen, the basest jewel will be well esteemed. So are those errors that in thee are seen, to truths translated and for true things deemed. How many lambs might the stern wolf betray, if like a lamb he could his look translate? How many gazers mightest thou lead away, if thou wouldest use the strength of all thy state? But do not so. I love thee in such sort, as thou being mine. Mine is thy good report. The end. And that was Sonnet 96. Okay. Sonnet 97. How like a winter hath my absence been from thee, the pleasure of the fleeting year. What freezings have I felt, what dark days seen, what old December's bareness everywhere, and yet this time removed was summer's time, the teeming autumn, big with rich increase, bearing the wanton burden of the prime, like widowed wombs after their lord's decease. Yet this abundant issue seemed to me the hope of orphans and unfathered fruit. For summer in his pleasure waits on thee, and thou away, the very birds are mute. Or if they sing, it's with so dull a cheer that leaves look pale, dreading the winter's near. The end. And that was Sonnet 97. Okay. Okay. Sonnet 98. Okay. From you have I been absent in the spring, when proud when when proud pied April, dressed in all his trim, hath put a spirit of youth in everything. The heavy Saturn laughed and leaped with him. Yet nor the lay of birds, nor the sweet smell of different flowers, in odor and in hue, could make me any summer's story tell, or from their piano, proud lap, pluck them where they grew. Nor did I wonder at the lilies white, nor praise the deep vermilion in the rose. They were but sweet, but figures of delight, drawn after you, you pattern of all those. Yet it seemed it winter still, and you away, as with your shadow I wish with thee did play. The end. And that was Sonnet 98. And Sonnet 99. Okay. The forward violet, thus did I chide. Sweet thief, whence didst thou steal thy sweet that smells, if not from my love's breath, the purple pride which on thy soft cheek for complexion dwells, in my love's vein, thou hast too grossly dyed. The lily I condemned for thy hand, and buds of marjoram had stolen in thy hair. The roses fearfully on thorns did stand, one blushing shame, another white despair, a third, nor red nor white, hath stolen of both, and to his robbery had annexed thy breath, but for his theft, in pride of all his growth, a vengeful canker eat him up to death. More flowers I noted, yet I none could see, but sweet or color it hath stolen from thee. The end. And that was Sonnet 99. And I'll read some more on next Saturday. And I was reading from William Shakespeare, the Sonnets, Poems of Love. Okay. Okay. And now I'm going to read from okay, the Aura Lee by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. I don't have the book, but I went on that website that Robbie always talked about, archive.org. I found it there, and I had it downloaded on my phone. So I'm going to get it now, and okay, okay, um, okay. Here it is. I'm going to read the first book. I read the first book, and I will probably read the whole because it's over 300 pages. And I know I won't be able, probably won't be able to read the whole first book today because that's a lot of pages. But I'll do my best. And this is Ara Lee by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. This is a poem, a poetry, a poetry novel, and she wrote it in not in the free verse. I think that's what you call free verse. Okay, okay. Ara Lee, first book by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And this is she talking about the heroine's life as a child, as she growing up, and her studying book, reading books, and about her life. Okay, of writing many books there is no end, and I, who have written much in prose and verse for others' uses, will write now for mine. Will write my story for my better self, as when you paint your portrait for a friend who keeps it in a drawer and looks at it long after he has ceased to love you, just to hold together what he was and is. I, writing thus, am still what men call young. I have not so far left the coast of life to travel inland that I cannot hear that murmur of the outer infinite, which unweaned babies smile at in their sleep, when wondered at for smiling not so far. But still I catch my mother at her post, beside the nursery door, with finger up. Hush, hush, here's too much noise, while her sweet eyes leap forward, at taking part against her word in the child's riot. Still I sit and feel my father's slow hand, when she had left us both, stroke out my childish curls across his knee, and hear Assunta's daily jest. She know he liked it better than a better jest. Inquire how many golden suit went to make such ringlets. Oh, my father's hand, stroke heavily, heavily the poor hair down. Draw, press the child's head closer to thy knee. I'm still too young to sit alone. I write, my mother was a Florentine, whose rare blue eyes were shut from seeing me when scarcely I was 4 years old. My life a poor spark snatched up from a falling lamp, which went out therefore. She was weak and frail. She could not hear. The joy of giving life, the mother's rapture, slew her. If her kiss had left a longer weight upon my lips, it might have steadied the uneasy breath, and reconciled and fraternized my soul with a new order, as it was indeed. I felt a mother want about the world, and still went seeking, like a bleeding lamb left out at night and shutting up the fold, at restless as a nest deserted bird, give grown, still through something being away, thought what it knows not. Hello, Atubiga. Okay, hello, Atubiga, and welcome to the Poetry Club Saturday night show. It is an honor to have you here. Thank you for coming. Okay, okay. I'm reading La Aurelie, Book One by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Okay. I, Aurelie, was born to make my father sadder, and myself not over jealous truly, not over joyous truly. Women know the way to rear up children, to be just. They know a simple, merry, tender knack of tying sashes, fitting baby shoes, and stringing pretty words that make no sense, and kissing full sense into empty words, which things are corals to cut life upon. Although such trifles, children learn by such. Love's wholly earnest in a pretty play, and get not over early solemn mused, but seeing, as in a rose bush, love's divine, which burns and hurts not in a single bloom. Become aware and unafraid of love, such good do mothers. Fathers love as well. Mine did, I know, but still with heavier brains, and wills more consciously responsible, and not as wisely, since less foolishly. So mothers have God's license to be missed. My father was an Eastern, austere Englishman who, after a dry lifetime spent at home in college learning law and Paris talk, was flooded with a passion unaware. His whole provisioned and complacent past drowned out from him that moment as he stood in Florence, where he had come to spend a month and note the secret of Da Vinci's drains. He musing somewhat, absently perhaps, some English question whether men should pay beyond popular the necessary tax, with left or right hand in the alien sun, in that great square of the Santisima. There drifted past him, scarcely marked enough to move his comfortable island scorn, a train of priestly banners, cross, and, and psalm. The white field, rose-crowned maidens holding up tall tapers, weighty for such wrist, amid to the blue luminous tremor of the air, and letting drop the white wask as they went to eat the bishop's wafer at the church, from which long trail of sending priests and girls, a face flashed like a symbol on his face, and shook with silent clangor brain and heart, transfiguring him to music. Thus, even thus, he too received his sacramental gift, with Eucharistic meanings, for he loved. And thus, beloved, she died. I've heard it said that but to see him in the first surprise of widower and father, nursing me, unmothered, little child of 4 years old, his large man's hands afraid to touch my curls, as if the gold would tarnish his grave lips, contriving such a miserable smile, as if he knew Meeks needs must, or I should die, and yet it was hard, would almost make the stones cry out for pity. There's a verse, he said, in Santa Crochet to her memory. Weep for an infant too young to weep much. When death removed this mother's stops the mirth. Today on women's fences, when they walk, with rosy children hanging on their gowns, under the cloister to escape the sun that scorches in the piazza, after which he left our Florence and made haste to hide himself, his prattling child, and silent grief, among the mountains above Pelago, because unmothered babies, he thought, had need of Mother Nature more than others use. And Pan's white gold with okay, um, with white gold, with others warm and full of mystic contemplations, come to feed poor milkless lips of orphans like his own. Such scholar scrapes he talked, I heard from friends, for even prosaic men, who was grief long, will get to wear it as a hat aside, with a flower stuck in it. Father then and child, we lived among the mountains many years. God's silence on the outside of the house, and we, who did not speak too loud within, and old Assunta to make up the fire, crossing herself, where never a sudden flame, which lightened from the firewood, made alive that picture of my mother on the wall. The painter drew it after she was dead, and when the face was finished, throat in hands, her canter, can, her cameraria carried him in hate of the English fashion shroud, the last brocade she dressed in at the Petty. He should paint no sadder thing than that, she swore, to wrong her poor signora. Therefore, very strange the fact was, I, a little child, would crouch for hours upon the flat floor with knees drawn up, and the gaze across him, half in terror, half in adoration, at the picture there, that swan like supernatural within white life, just sailing upward from the red stiff silk, which seemed to have no part in it, nor power to keep it from quite breaking out of bounds. For hours I sate and stared. Assunta's awe and my poor father's melancholy eyes still pointed that way. That way went my thoughts, wandering beyond sight. And as I grew in years, I mixed, confused, unconsciously. Whatever I last heard or heard, whatever I last read or heard or dreamed, abhorrent, admirable, beautiful, pathetical, or ghastly, or grotesque, was still that face, which did not therefore change. Okay. Hello, Gina. Welcome. Um, okay, okay, okay. Um, Hello, Gina, and welcome to the Poetry Club Saturday night show. Welcome. It is an honor to have you here, and I hope. Let me know y'all what y'all think of the new name I got. The Poetry Club Saturday night show. Let me know what y'all think of that. I can always go back to the other one. Okay, and the ones who are coming in now. I'm reading Aurora Lee, Book One by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. and I'm reading it from on my cell phone from the archive.org. Okay. But kept the mystic level of all forms and fears and admirations, was by turns ghost, fiend, and angel, fairy, witch, and sprite, a dauntless muse who eyes a dreadful fate, a loving psyche who loses sight of love, a steel Medusa with mild milky brows, all curdled and all cloth upon with snakes, whose slime falls fast as wet will, or anon. Our Lady of the Pageant stabbed the swords where the babe sucked, or Lamia in her first moonlighted pallor, ere she shrunk and blinked, and shuddering, wriggled down to the unclean, or my own mother, leaving her last smile and her last kiss upon the baby's mouth. My father pushed down on the bed for that, or on my dead mother, without smile or kiss, buried at Florence. All which images concentrated on the picture glassed themselves before my meditative childhood as the incoherencies of change and death at our President Foley mixed and merged in the smooth, fair mystery of perpetual life. Okay. And while I stared away my childish wits upon my mother's picture, ah, poor child, my father, who through love had suddenly thrown off the old conventions, broken loose from thin hands of the soul like Lazarus, yet had no time to learn to talk and walk, or grow anew familiar with the Son, who had reached to freedom, not to action, lived, but lived as one entranced with thoughts, not aims, whom love had unmade from a common man, be not completed to an uncommon man. My father taught me what he had learned the best before he died and left me grief and love. And seeing we had books among the hills, strange words of counseling, souls confederate, with vocal pines and waters. Out of books, he taught me all the ignorance of men, and how God laughs in heaven when any man says, "Here I'm learned, this I understand, in that I am never caught at fault or doubt." Oh no. Um, hello, Mark. Wow. Doreen can't get you on Facebook like someone blocked her. That's why I've been trying to get hold of her too. That's why I can't get hold of her. Okay, okay. Thank you, Mark. That is really weird. Wow. Because I was wondering what happened. Because I was trying to comment to her last Saturday, and it wouldn't let me go on her page. Okay. Wow. I hope she can get it fixed. Facebook getting really weird about stuff. Wow. I'm so sorry. And thank you for coming, Mark. And it is an honor to have you here. Okay. Uh oh. Okay. Uh oh. Um. Okay. He seek the schools to school, demonstrating a fool will pass for such through one mistake, while a philosopher will pass for such through said mistakes, being measured in the grass, in the gross, and heaped up to a system. I am like. They tell me, my dear father, broader brows, howbeit, upon a slender undergrowth of delicate features, paler, near as grave. But then my mother's smile breaks up the whole and makes it better sometimes in itself. So 9 full years, our days were hid with God among his mountains. I was just 13, still growing like the plants from unseen roots and tongue-tied springs, and suddenly awoke to full life and life's seeds, needs, and agonies, with an intense, strong, struggling heart beside a stone dead father. Life struck sharp as death makes awful lightning. His last word was love. Love, my child. Love, love. Then he had done with grief. Love, my child. Ere I answered, he was gone, and none was left to love in all the world. Okay. Okay. Um, Hello, Doreen. This is Doreen. I'm not sure what happened, but I can't get you on Facebook or Messenger, and I can't watch your poetry club. Seems like someone blocked me from everything. Wow. I don't understand. I was trying to get a hold of you, and that must be why I couldn't get a hold of you. Because last Saturday, I was trying to get on your page and I couldn't. Wow. This upsets me about Facebook. I wonder if somebody, if it's Facebook or is being, um, scammed by somebody. I don't know. Okay. Uh, wow. I don't like that when that happens. Because we've been on Facebook forever, Doreen, like a long, long time. Wow. I don't either because last Saturday, your name, when I was trying to answer you and have your name highlighted, it wouldn't do it. And I didn't understood it. And I couldn't even get on your page. It was like, I don't understand. Wow. Okay. Okay. There, ended childhood. While seated next, I recollect as after fevers, men thread back the passage of delirium, missing the turnstile, baffled by the door. Smooth, endless days, notched here and there with knives. A weary, wormy darkness, spurred eyed the flank with flame, that it should eat and end itself like some tormented scorpion. Then at last, I do remember clearly how there came a stranger with authority, not right, I thought not, who commanded, caught me up from old Asunta's neck. How with a shriek she let me go, while I, with ears too full of my father's silence, to shriek back a word, and all a child's astonishment at grief, stared at the wharf edge where she stood and moaned. My poor Asunta, where she stood and moaned. The white walls, the blue hills, my Italy, drawn backward from the shuddering steamer Decca, like one in anger, drawing back her skirts with which suppliants eat cash at. Then the bitter seas inexorably pushed between us both, and sweeping up the ship with my despair, threw us not as a posture to the stars. 10 nights and days we voyaged on the sleep on the deep wait, on the deep. 10 nights and days without the common face of any day or night. The moon and sun cut off from the green reconciling earth, to starve into a blind ferocity and glare unnatural. The very sky dropping its bill knit down upon the sea, as if no human heart should escape alive, be draggled with the desolating salt, until it seemed no more that holy heaven to which my father went. All new and strange, the universe turned stranger for a child. Hmm. Then land, then England. Oh, the frosty cliffs look cold upon me. Could I find a home among those mean red houses through the fog? I thought, and when I heard my father's language burst from alien lips, which had no kiss for mine, I wept aloud, then laughed, then wept, and someone near me, and the child was mad through much sickness. The train swept us. Was this my father's England? The great isle? The ground seemed cut up from the fellowship of birder, field from field, as man from man. The skies themselves looked low and positive, as almost you could touch them with a hand and dare to do it. They were so far off from God's celestial crystals, all things blurred and dull and vague. Did Shakespeare and his mates absorb the light here? Not a hill or stone with heart to strike, a radiant color up, or active outline on the different air. I think I've seen my father's sister stand upon the hall step of her country house to give me welcome. She stood straight and calm, her somewhat narrow forehead braided tight, as for taming accidental thoughts from possible pulses, brown hair pricked with gray by frigid use of life. She was not old, although my father's elder by a year. A nose drawn sharply, yet in delicate lines, a close mild mouth, a little soured about the ends through speaking unrequited love, or peradventure niggardly half truths, eyes of no color. Once they might have smiled, but never have forgotten themselves in smiling cheeks, in which was yet a rose of Paris summers, like a rose in a book, kept more for ruth and pleasure, than if past bloom, past fading also. She had lived, we'll say, a harmless life. She called a virtuous life, a quiet life, which was not life at all, but that she had not lived enough to know. Between the biker and the county spires, the Lord Lieutenant looking down sometimes from the Empyrean to insure their souls against chance vulgarisms, and in the bias, the apothecary looked on once a year to prove their soundness of humility. The poor club exercised her Christian gifts of knitting stockings, stitching petticoats, because we are one flesh after all, and need one of flannel with a proper sense of difference in the quality. And still, the book club, guarded from your modern trick of shaking dangerous questions from the crease, preserved her intellectual. She had lived a sort of cage bird life, born in a cage, accounting that to leap from perch to perch was set and joy enough for any bird. Dear heaven, how silly are the things that live in thickets, and eat berries. I, alas, a wild bird, scarcely fledged, was brought to her cage, and she was there to meet me, very kind. Bring the clean water, give out the fresh seed. Okay. She stood upon the steps to welcome me, in black garb. I clung about her neck, young babes who cast at every shred of wool to draw the newt light closer, catch and claim less blindly. In my ears, my father's word hummed ignorantly as a sea and shells. Love, love, my child. She, black, bent with my grief, might feel my love. She was his sister once. I clung to her. A moment she seemed more moved, kissed me with cold lips, suffered me to cling, and drew me feebly through the hall into the room she sat in. There, with some stranger, with strange, um, uh-oh, what happened here? With strange spasm of pain and passion, she wrung loose my hands imperiously, and held me at arm's length, and with two grey steel, naked bladed eyes searched through my face. A stabbed it through and through brows and cheeks and chin, as if to find a wicked murderer in my innocent face. If not here, there perhaps. Then drawing a rift, she struggled for ordinary calm, and missed it rather. Told me not to shrink, as if she had told me not to lie or swear. She loved my father, and would love me too, as long as I deserved it. Very kind. I understood her meaning afterward. She thought to find my mother in my face, and questioned it for that. For she, my aunt, had loved my father truly, as she could, and hated it with a gall of gentle souls. My Tucson mother, who had fooled away a wise man from wise courses, a good man from obvious duties, and depriving her, his sister, of the household precedence. He had wronged his tenants, robbed his native land, and made him mad, alike by life and death, and love and sorrow. She had poured for years. What sort of woman could be suitable to her sort of hate to entertain it with? And so her very curiosity became hate too, and all the idealism she ever used in life was used for hate, till hate, so nourished, did exceed at last the love from which it grew, in strength and beat, and wrinkled her smooth conscience with a sense of disputable virtue, say not sin, when Christian doctrine was enforced at church. And thus my father's sister was to me my mother's hater. From that day she did her duty to me. I appreciate it in her own word as spoken to herself. Her duty in large measure, well pressed out, but measured always. She was generous, blame, more courteous than was tender, gave me still the first place, as if fearful that God's saints would look down suddenly and say, herein you missed a point, I think, through lack of love. Alas, a mother never is afraid of speaking angrily to any child, since love, she known, is justified of love. And I was a good child, a meek and manageable child. Why not? I did not live to have the faults of life. There seemed more true life in my father's grave than in all England, since that threw me off, who fain would cleave. His latest will, they say, consigned me to his land. I only thought of lying quiet there where I was thrown like seaweed on the rocks, and suffering her to prick me to a pattern with her pen, fiber from fiber, delicate leaf from leaf, and dried out from my brown anatomy the last sea salt left in me. So it was. I broke the copious curls upon my head in braids because she liked smooth, ordered hair. I left off saying my sweet two-song words, which still, at any stirring of the heart, came up to float across the English phrase as lilies, because she liked my father's child to speak his tongue. Okay. Okay. I learned the I learned the I learned the collects and the catechism, the creeds from Athanasius back to Neve, the articles, the tracts against the, the tens. By no means Wino Ventera's prick of love and various popular synopsises of inhuman doctrines never taught by John because she liked instructed piety. I learned my complement of classic French, kept peer of Balzac and neologism, and German also, since she liked a range of liberal education, tons, not books. I learned a little algebra, a little of the mathematics, brushed with extreme flounce, the circle of the sciences, because she misliked women who are frivolous. I learned the royal genealogies of Obiedo, the internal laws of the Burmese Empire, by how many feet Mount Chimborazo outsoars Tenerife, what navigable river joins itself to Lara, and what census of the year 5 was taken at Klagenfurt, because she liked a general insight into useful facts. I learned much music, such as would have been as quite impossible in Johnson's day, as still it might be wished, fine slates of hand, and imagined fingering, shuffling, shuffling off the here's soul through hurricanes of notes to a noisy couplet. And I drew costumes from French engravings, nearest neatly draped, with smirks of simmering godship. I washed in landscapes from nature, rather say washed out. I danced the polka and celerius. Okay. um, okay. Spun glass, stuffed birds, and model flowers in wask, because he liked accomplishments in girls. I read a score of books on womanhood to prove if women do not think at all, they may teach thinking to a maiden aunt, or else the other. Books that boldly assert their right of comprehending husband's talk when not too deep, and even of answering with pretty, nay, please you, or so it is. Their rapid insight and fine aptitude, particular worth and general missionariness, as long as they keep quiet by the fire and never say no when the world says yea, for that is fatal. Their angelic reach a virtue chiefly used to sit and darn and fatten household simmers there in brief, potential faculty and everything of abdicating power in it. She owned she liked a woman to be womanly, an English women she thanked God inside. Some people always sigh and thanking God were model to the universe. And last I learned to cross stitch because she did not like to see me wear the night with empty hands, a doing nothing. So shepherdness, my shepherdless was something after all. The pastoral saints be praised for, learning lovelorn with pink eyes to match her shoes. When I mistook the silks, her head uncrushed by that round wave of hat, be strangely similar to the tortoise shell which slew the tragic poet by the way. The works of women are symbolized. We sew, prick our fingers, dull our sight. Producing what? A pair of slippers, sir, to put on when you're weary, or a stool to trouble over and vex you. Like to tumble over and vex you. Curse that stool, or else at best, a cushion where you lean and sleep and dream of something we are not. It would be for your sake. Alas, alas, this hurts most, this, that. After all, we are paid the worth of our work, perhaps. And looking down those years of education to return, I wonder if Bane Billers suffered more in the water torture, blood succeeding blood to drench the incapable throat and spilt the veins than I did. Certain of your feebler souls go on in such a process many pine to a sick, inodorous light, my own endeared. I had relations and the unseen, and drew the elemental nutriment and heat from nature as earth feels the sun at nights, or as a babe sucks sturdy in the dark. I kept the life thrust on me on the outside of the inner life with all its ample room for heart and lungs, for will and intellect, and bettable by convention. God, I thank thee for that grace of thine. At first, I felt no life which was not patience, did the thing she bade me, without heed to a thing beyond it, sate in just a chair she placed, with back against a window, to exclude the sight of the great lime tree on the lawn. Okay. Um, okay. 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 I'm gonna stop right there and I'm gonna continue it next week. Okay, I'm gonna put that on. Okay, okay, um, okay, okay. I'm okay. Let me mark this down to um where I start off at. Okay, so okay, um, Okay. 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 I thought I could read. I thought about reading the whole book one, but I got up to page 16, so I have a ways to go yet. So I'll continue next Saturday because I love the book. Ara. I know I'm not pronouncing it right, but Aurora Lee, and I'm sorry about that, you all. Okay. Now, oh, okay. And today, we're going to talk about another poetic poem. Poetic poem today is called uh, Converse. Con hyphen verse Berse. Okay. And the converse is created by Connie Markham Wong. It consisted of three or two line rhyming stanzas, couplets. The meter of this form is in syllabic verse. Okay. A syllabic verse only counts the number of syllables in a line. Okay. And rhyme scheme is A B B C C D D E E. And syllable count is 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 11, 11. And this process may be repeated for a longer verse. If repeated, you must begin your first couplet with the syllabic count of 7 again and continue from there. And that was the end of that. Okay. I was going to do that today and have it ready for y'all. Do that form, but I've been so swamped with getting all this stuff done, getting everything done. I haven't had time to write it, and so I hope I can do it for next week. Okay, and now and the word for today, I like this word because it's the new word today is encouraging, and I know it's a positive word. I like it. It's called in spirit. Okay. It's spelled Inspirit. It is a verb, origin Middle English in the 15th century. And definition is encourage and enliven someone. Example in a sentence: it was hard to inspirit the sleep deprived mother. And this word comes from the Middle English inspiriton, meaning inspiriton is spelled Inspiriten, meaning to stir someone's mind into action. And did you know the word inspirit has inspired many people to incorporate it into their company names? There's Inspirit Owl, an artificial intelligence education program developed and taught by MIT and Stanford students. Inspirit Yoga Studio in Florida. The Mystical Inspirit Crystals in Massachusetts. Several retirement homes with the name Inspirit, and the Inspirit Foundation in Toronto, Canada, which promotes inclusion and pluralism through the arts. Okay, and that was the end. Okay. And the word was Inspirit, Inspirit. Okay. Okay. And now I'm going to read from the love poems of Elizabeth and Robert Browning. Okay. And I'm going to read Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Sonnet 29. Sonnet 29. I think of thee, my thoughts do twine and bud about thee, as wild vines about a tree. Put out broad leaves, and soon there's naught to see, except the straggling green which hides a wood. Yet, O my palm tree, be it understood, I will not have any thoughts instead of thee, who art dear better, rather instantly renew thy presence as a strong tree should, rustle thy boughs, and set thy trunk all bare, and let these bands of greenery, which inspire thee, drop heavily down, burst, shattered everywhere, because in this deep joy to see and hear thee, and breathe within thy shadow a new air, I do not think of thee, I am too near thee. The end. And that was Sonnet 29 by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Okay. And now I'm going to read Robert Browning's poem called May and Death. I wish that when you died last May, sorrows, there had died along with you 3 parts of spring's delightful things. And for me, the 4th part too. A foolish thought, and worse, perhaps. There must be many a pair of friends who, arm in arm, deserve the warm moon bursts and the long evening ends. So for their sake, be May still May. Let their new time, as mine of old, do all it did for me. I bid sweet sights and sounds throng manifold. Only one little sight, one plant. Woods have been made that starts up green, saws a soul streak, with so to speak, as it springs blood, split its leaves between, that they might spare a certain wood, might miss a plant. Their loss were small, but I, whenever the leaf grows bare, its drops comes from my heart. That's all. The end. And that was May and Death by Robert Browning. Okay. And does anyone want to come on here and read? Want to come on here and read or have anything to say or have any announcements? And so me put it up here so anybody can come on here and see if they get it. Okay, me put it up here first. Um, StreamYard. Okay, I put it on YouTube. Now I'm gonna put it up here too. Okay. To, okay. Now I put it on my page. Now I'm going to put it on the the poetry club too, where people can come in and read too. Um, okay. Um, okay. I got it on the I put it the link in the YouTube. I put in the poetry club and I put on my page. So anybody who wants to come on here and read, and you're welcome to. Okay. So anybody can come on here and read now if anybody wants to. While I'm waiting, I'm not sure I'm going to do Poco Shop that much longer because there's no use me doing it if nobody hardly going to come on there in Poco Shop. I love Poco Shop. I'll be still going there to support my friends. I'm still going to go on there and listen to their shows. But for me, doing a show, I don't think there's enough people coming on there to hear me read to keep it on to keep up. So I don't know yet. I might try it again next week. I don't know. If I do, it will be on a Monday. Then I'll do it on a Friday. One of them. So I don't know yet. I'm thinking about it, and I don't know because I shouldn't want to keep reading when it took about an hour before I seen anybody show up. So why use doing it if there's no interest in hearing me read poetry? And so, but yet it showed I had like 7 people on there last night, but I didn't see anybody. Well, I did see 2 people on there was in there for a long time, then another one, but they don't stay on there long enough. So I don't know. I had to think hard about it, but I'm not going to give up the Poetry Club Saturday night show. I'll keep on that. I will not give that up. That's for sure. But then I started up again too, so on Pokosha, so I might have to give it time to people find me and know who. Right. And and I'm still not sure about having a chat with poet Noreen for April, because I'm still because I know Bob is sick and he's not feeling good, so I pray that he'll get better. So when I hear more, I want to have a show for this month, but I'm not sure yet. I had to wait on him to see what is going on, and so I will let you all know as soon as I know. I'm hoping to have it by the end of April. Then in May is going to be Petros from Greece. Then in June will be Never Give Up here in Florida. My very good friend of mine. Okay. And if anybody else wants to come on to have a chat with Poet Noreen and be my guest, so let me know and you're welcome to. Okay. And I do have announcements. Honey Parker has a show on Outworld Fleet radio station called Poetic Expressions every Sunday and Wednesday night from 11 p.m. to midnight. Okay, and you can watch the show every it's a pre-recorded. Okay, and Craig Kirkland has a YouTube channel called the Great Amazia, and check him out. He has the past shows of the TVP shows with Amazia the Great. You can see all his shows on there, and it is awesome. So check it out. And he got other shows on there because he's touring East Coast of Florida. So check him out there. And he also has a show. I mean, has a book called "Don't Cry." I got it too. Okay. And now Red. Okay. Franco Flavius and Antoinette and Francine has a show on called the Real Stuff Podcast, the Poetry Corner, every Friday from 11 a.m. to noon on YouTube channel called Reggae Nostalgia. So go ahead and check that out. And Gina Storm, Brother O, Enigmatic, and Nina Purple has a show on 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday night on talkshoe.com /show /poet radio station. And if you want to call in and read your poem, you can call in. And also, she has something. They have something going on there every night on Clubhouse. You can check that out too. Okay. And Nada Alicia still has a show called Speakeasy Cafe Thursday nights. Has her show on every Thursday night from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Block Talk Radio. Her show is Speakeasy Cafe Open Mic Poetry Radio Show. And if you want to donate, so it will not shut down, and it won't be shut down because we're getting really close to 3 hour show. So go ahead and donate. If you want to donate, go on GoFundMe.com. Go on. Hello, Elizabeth. Um, Hello, Elizabeth. Thank you. Welcome to the Poetry Club Saturday night show, and it's an honor to have you here. Thank you. Okay, and and if you want to call into her show, you can, and and call in her show every Thursday night. Okay, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Block Talk Radio called Speakeasy Cafe Open Mic Poetry Radio Show. Okay. And okay. Does anybody want to come on here? Have anything to say? Want to read their poem or have any announcements of anything? Okay. Um. Oh, another thing I have announcement too on Poco Shop. You can go and. Okay, because I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that or not because I don't. For me, it's not worth it because I don't know yet. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep doing it. But anyway, go and support my friends. Never give up. My friend Chino Diamante and Hey Rachel. They're on Pokosha, and you can hear listen to their stream to their shows. And Pokosha is awesome. I love Pokosha. And if I do go back on Monday night, I will let you all know. And it depends how I feel. And I had to think about it really hard if I'm going to keep continuing. And plus, I shouldn't realize that I haven't been doing this very long on there. I've been going. Well, I've been on Pokemon since 2021, but I should start it up again. So maybe I should. I don't know yet. Maybe I haven't did it long enough for anybody to come on there. I don't know. But anyway, I will let y'all know about that. Okay. Anybody want to come on here and have anything they want to say? Oh, and we're still going to next one at a poetess, and I will be hosting the poetry club Saturday. Poetry club joins 100,000 poets for change, and I think it's still in September because it was last year in September. So if y'all want to join, let me know. And cause, well, we have a way to go with that yet, don't we? So I'll wait on that for a little later on. But let you give y'all something to think about. Okay. Um. Elizabeth, did you want to you have anything to say? You want to come on here, or you have any announcements, or you want to read anything? Okay. Um. Did you, Doreen or Mark? Um. Dickie. Robbie. Gina. Um. Atubiga. Um. Um. Okay. I'll give anybody a few minutes in case somebody wants to come on here. Okay. I know Solar Angel said she won't be here this time because she's going to New York, but she will be back next week. She'll read her poetry next week. Okay. Um, Anybody wants to come on here and okay, because anybody's welcome. Okay. Um, okay. If nobody wants to come on, well, I will close out the show then. Okay. And I want to thank everyone. I want to thank everyone for coming to the show. I want to thank Elizabeth Esguero Castillo. I want to thank Mark and Doreen Brunner, Atubiga, James Arara, Gina Storm, um, Diggy K, aka Richard Huggendubber, Robbie's Multimedia Poetry. I want to thank you all for coming on here. And if I miss anybody, I apologize. And I want to thank everyone for coming on here. Okay. Um, and thank you all. Um, okay. And y'all have don't and remember, you're never too young or too old to live your dreams. And I hope y'all have a good night, a good weekend, and a good week. Thank you all for being here. And I will be back next Saturday, the same time. And I will continue reading Aura Lee by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, the book one. I'll continue that week, next week. Okay. And I'll see y'all next Saturday. And God bless each one of you all, and we love you all. Thank you. Have a great night. Okay.